Welcome to the Talk Chamber, a production of the Greater Memphis Chamber. The Talk Chamber is the podcast for the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. This mic is powered by OrthoSouth. While Small Business Week may be over, it's important that we still celebrate and support our small businesses. So today, we're doing a small business spotlight. We're featuring two businesses in our community and hearing about the impact that they have. First up is Marc Young with The Frame Corner. Today's episode features Marc Young, the owner of The Frame Corner. Marc, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
We are so glad to talk to you and talk to you about your business. So tell us, what is The Frame Corner? How did it get its start? What inspired The Frame Corner?
Well, to start off, The Frame Corner is all about custom framing. So this is a little bit different than just finding a frame on a shelf. This is coming in and finding your personal style and making it work with your artwork or photograph, certificate, whatever you have. And so just to start off, that is Frame Corner is a custom business, and we really tailor to each client individually. And that's what makes us great. And that is basically what it all boils down to. That's our foundation. We cater to our customers, and that's why they keep coming back.
So y'all are 50, going on 51 years now. What was celebrating your 50th anniversary like?
Celebrating 50 years is an amazing accomplishment, and we are very fortunate to be able to make that claim for 50 years. Back in 1975, Andrea Stark started The Frame Corner and was able to build it over the years, creating a great foundation of customers that would just return and return. The basis of Frame Corner, to start off with, was a custom frame shop where you could come in and do part of the labor yourself. So back in 1975 and going into the 80s, DIY was something that people were really getting into, which has kind of faded off here in the 2000s when we become so busy that we would prefer somebody just get that ready for us.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But we're very fortunate to kind of go through all of these spans of businesses that kind of adjust. And so the big key term in the 2000s, 2010s, was pivoting. And so, we recognize where customers are going. You need to be flexible. Let's pivot. Let's just make it all about custom. And we still will give people the opportunity. If they want to come in and get their hands on a project, we'll give them the table space to work on. But at 95% of what we do is just full custom. You come pick it up, hang it on the wall. It looks perfect.
That's awesome. And how did you get involved with The Frame Corner?
I've been working with The Frame Corner since 2000 and worked my way through college. And when I was ready to graduate, I had the choice of either going into graphic design and working at a desk, in a cubicle behind a screen, or working hands-on with customers and, being up and moving around. And it was just a lot more appealing to me to run a small business than to kind of be in that office with the tunnel vision looking at a computer screen. And so this is one of the great things about being in custom framing is that you are working with your hands on a particular project. And so that's very nice. And so that's basically how I got started in custom framing, was just kind of coming in and choosing a business that fit my artistic background, and two, being able to work with customers hands-on. And so, I really like being able to bounce ideas off my customers, and that's what makes running this business a great kind of thing for me personally. So,
is that what you would say is the most exciting part about being a small business owner and running a small business?
Yeah, I would. I think it's getting to know the community around you. The people in Memphis are great. They're a creative bunch. They really like to get their personal style. And, we all have a sense of style. if you think about all the artists that come through Memphis and, either a musician or visual artists, they all are able to make an impact both here in our city and kind of nationally and globally. And that kind of leaves its mark on the city. And so everybody that comes through the door at the Frame Corner has that personal style, and they're able to kind of convey, I want my decor for my home to look this way. And that's the great thing about being in custom framing. So I hate to repeat that over and over again, but it's kind of the truth of it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And let's pause for just a second and tell us about yourself. You sound like you have a lot of Memphis history knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Midtown and am a graduate of Central High School, the high school here in Memphis. And they have a great art program over there. When I was there, it was my art teacher was Bill Hicks, who trained so many young artists going through that program. They went on to become great artists. Number one, if you don't know about Derek Forger, great artist from Memphis that is just nationally and globally known. And after I graduated from Central High School, I went on to Memphis College of Art and graduated there, and I was fortunate to get a graphic design degree and a double major in painting. And all of that has gone into how I approach custom framing and running a business. I consider running a business just as much as part of an art as anything.
What would you say is the transferable skill between art and running a business?
The transferable skill, number one, when you're dealing with art, you have to create like really fine hand skills. You have to be a critical thinker. You have to be able to execute both, physically and mentally. So those all come into play when you're running a business. You have to think about the perspective of your customers, the perspective of your employees. How does that all fit together? How does it all blend? How can you make both your employees happy and your customers? There's always a back and forth between that. And so it's just a little bit of that fine tuning, being able to kind of say, I need to adjust things here so that I can get this outcome here. And a lot of that is when you learn visual arts and those sorts of things, you start to see things in a little bit more of an abstract way, and being able to kind of critically think in an abstract manner does really kind of help when you're dealing with such a large spectrum of things that really kind of boil down to one thing, which is the product that the customer gets.
Definitely. I think that's a really interesting path that you have.
Right.
Because typically when you hear of an artist or graphic designer kind of / artist owning a business, it's usually they're selling their own art.
Right.
And they're selling what they've done. But it's more for them about just, painting or drawing or
selling that product that they have. Yeah.
It's not about owning a business and, giving something to a customer and making your employees happy and all of the intricate details that go into running and owning a business.
Which is very exciting. I mean, all those things are great. Just all the different levels and, being a child of the 90s and we all grow up with ADD and being and being able to point your attention a bunch of different directions really kind of helps with that, kind of put that multi-level focus to use.
I love that. And I love that career path from art into owning a business. But I love how you've been able to incorporate that artistic mind, that creative mindset into what you're doing today. Yeah.
It's just as interesting as making a painting. And sometimes you make a little more money.
I bet.
The great thing about the Frame Corner and running that business is getting to know the customers. we all kind of create this network, and it feels like a giant family. Everybody that comes into the Frame Corner, I know them and know most of their names. And so it's a great feeling when you see a person walk to the door and you can kind of connect with them on a personal level.
It sounds like you have a lot of repeat customers.
We do. We have a lot of artists, a lot of business owners, a lot of designers that come in, bringing in multiple projects, week after week. Some we see more than others, but it's just, it's a very good feeling to know that we're making people happy, and two, that they will continue to need more projects done. And so that's a very exciting feeling. Ever since COVID, which was 2019, 2020, people really kind of focused on fixing up their homes, making their space, more like their own. And so ever since then, we've really had a boost in decorating, because people kind of got in that mindset and it never really left after that. I just can't express more just how much of a joy it is to kind of run a very creative business like that.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit and talk about the culture of small business. Mm-hmm. Why are small businesses important to Memphis?
Well, I've always considered Memphis to be kind of this large, small town. And so we have this great expanse of people and different neighborhoods, but we all seem to kind of share the same story. And to own a small business in a city like Memphis is very important, for the community. I think it helps bring people together, and just to kind of really build on, again, the creativity of a city is very nice. One of the most important things I think about owning a small business in Memphis is, we're able to do something creative. Other small businesses, do their thing, whether it's a restaurant or, just any number of things. And people are able to use those resources, like if you're a nursery or one of those, and really kind of use a small business to make your living situation a little more comfortable. I think it really just kind of boils down to the community and the network that we build in that space. One of the things I think that a small business does is kind of help vitalize a area. And so in our area, we're near Park Avenue and Mendenhall. And, sometimes you get such a concentration of corporate stores and those sorts of things that it really kind of loses its flavor. It all becomes homogenized. And to bring in a small business really kind of gives you a distinct feeling of what that area is, because we're much more connected than, say, like a corporate box store would be.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very unfortunate in that way that a corporate store doesn't have that kind of style or, the details that a small business would have. If you think about all your favorite small businesses, they've really got a certain flavor to them. They've got a particular style, and that's one of the things that I notice when we're framing for a customer. They really want to have something that is funky or something that has personality. And so in the same way that we do that for our customers, I think that's what small businesses provide for a city or a town or wherever they are.
Definitely.
And so I really think that's important to have, owners such as myself or other owners across the city, because they can be an advocate for the city and really kind of push for positive change, probably more than other people can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've got one more question before our time is up. And that is, what is your advice to other people interested in opening a small business or who are currently running a small business and it's early on for them? How do they make it 50 years? What's your advice?
My advice is to really listen to your customers. Number one, it's an everyday effort, and you have to put in the hours. My father, who owned a business, would always tell me you only have to work half a day. It doesn't matter if it's the first 12 or the second 12. So you really have to keep that mindset. You just want to really go into it thinking, I'm going to put everything in this day, and at the end of the day, reassess and then do it again the next day. And so there's a lot of flexibility that you have to have. But, one of the most important things is balance your lifestyle. You want to be able to leave your work at work and then rest and play it and your off time. So don't forget that. That's a very important part. The other is just connect with your customers. It is a benefit and a pleasure to wait on your customers. They are not a burden. That the most important thing is that you're just fortunate that they're walking through your door or calling you on your phone, and to just take that as a blessing and run with it.
Marc, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure being here. Very excited to be here at the Chamber and just giving Memphis everything we can and making the best of it.
Thank you. We appreciate you. The next guest is Melissa Todd with the Front Porch Memphis. Though the Front Porch is technically a nonprofit, there's a lot of small business involvement. They house small businesses, and they even have their own cafe called Second Helpings Cafe. So take a listen and see what you can find out. Today's episode features Melissa Todd, the Executive Director of the Front Porch Memphis. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the Talk Chamber.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So let's start off with, what is the Front Porch? What's its origin story? How did it get its start?
So really it started with an idea from Lauren Young, who is the owner of Sweet Lala's Bakery. And she and her family have been members of Second Baptist Church for several years. And as you know, every October they have the pumpkin patch
Yes.
right there on Walnut Grove. And she started noticing how many people were coming through. It's 5,000 people just during the month of October. And they don't only come for the pumpkins. They come for the community, for the pumpkin bread, for the story times. There's just so much going on the campus in the month of October that she started thinking to herself, there's got to be a way that we can bring this, kind of community to this campus year round. So she went to her parents, Becky and Spence Wilson, and said, proposed that question to them, like, don't you think there's something we could do? And, the three of them went to the leaders of the church and started speaking to them. And, Second Baptist has always been a place where the campus is for everyone. They have, Thistle and Bee make their products there. They have a preschool, music academy, just so much going on campus.
It's a polling location.
Yes.
There's so much going on over there.
Yeah, actually one of the largest. So it's just, it's always been a place where people feel welcomed on their campus. And so between all those groups and, Second Baptist members, the idea of the Front Porch came to life. So Archimania built up the plans and, we started a $5 million capital building campaign to be able to build the building, and Grinder, Tabor and Grinder built the building, and just everybody involved just loves Memphis so much and wanted to see this kind of space in Memphis. So we just finished our $5 million capital campaign successfully. And
congratulations.
Really, thank you. And it was, 100 donors just from around the city, mostly foundations and just families who just wanted to see this happen in Memphis and have a space, almost like a third space in Memphis. We're all combating loneliness at this time and isolation. And I think the Surgeon General said 58% of Americans are lonely. And we just wanted to have a space where people can come and not feel lonely and just get connection back and bring the hospitality back to the city that we love so much. That's why we have a front porch. I mean, how Southern is that?
Right, exactly.
So that's how it all got started, and we're just so happy that it's now up and running in the building here, and we couldn't have done it without, the people of Memphis who came forward and said they want it, because we built it for Memphis.
Now, real quick, what are the hours and how can people show up? Is it just whenever you want to come? Is it Do you book space? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so the front porch is the building, and inside, in the heart of the building, is Second Helpings Cafe, and that is in partnership with Sweet Lala's.
Love it.
They serve breakfast, lunch, coffees, espressos, or sweet treats from Sweet Lala's. Lauren Young has just done an amazing job, and her team, of creating just such a welcoming space, and it's open to the public Monday through Fridays. Mondays 7:30 to 1:30, and then Tuesday through Friday 7:30 to 5:30, and then Saturday by events only. But she's just created this space where people walk in and just want to be there. And I think that's what's incredible and different about Second Helpings Cafe is when you walk in, that team is going to make you feel so welcome. And then we also have an event space that organizations, businesses have been booking for their staff retreats, for their business meetings, for their networking events, lunch and learns. We've had, so many businesses coming through and using the space and booking the space. And then we have a smaller meeting room for up to 12 people for smaller gatherings or smaller meetings. And it's just been great to see people coming forward and wanting to make this a place that they bring their business and even their private gatherings if they'd like to.
I really love that and love the idea behind it. It's, kind of dual purposed. It's community, it's connection, it's people being together. But it's that both personally and professionally, and you've got those business spaces and that event space that can be used for, conference meetings or, but it just is, it's just a cool place to be. And I'll say the building is beautiful. I drive past it very regularly, so I just haven't had the chance to stop in. So it's on my list of places to stop in and hang out and just catch the vibe.
Come have some coffee.
I
with
will.
me. Yeah,
I sure will.
I'd love to sit down and catch up.
And kind of speaking of business and the space that you have there, y'all do have some office space, some people, small businesses and nonprofits housed there. Who are they, and how did they end up there?
Yeah. So our largest tenant, which takes up a large portion of our building, is Baptist Center for Good Grief Millis House. They provide free grief counseling to people who have lost loved ones. And they see about 60 to 65 patients a week. And they moved from Collierville and made this their home. So we're really happy to have them in the building. We also have 4 other small offices. We have American Cancer Society has an office in the building. We have 2 therapists, Christian Psychological Center, Dr. Lou Martin. We have MEM Counseling, which is Mary Elizabeth McCollum. She does counseling. And then we have the tutors, which is great because, we're right at Perkins and Walnut Grove. So we're surrounded by so many schools.
Yes.
So having the tutors there, kids are able to come over and get their tutoring. So that's what we have in the building right now. And, we wanted to make sure that we had people in the building who were doing good for Memphis. And I think that's what we have. And just so I can, if you don't mind me plugging something that we do have in the building or outside the building, because I think this is really a unique opportunity, is we have something called a Win phone on the north side of the building, and it looks like a phone booth from London with a rotary phone inside and a desk. And the idea of a Win phone came from Japan, where a man had lost his cousin in a tsunami, and he was trying to find a way to connect with his cousin. So he put a phone out so people, not only him, but people who lost loved ones in the tsunami, where you can go in and you can pick up the phone and you can call your loved one who's passed away. So if you need to say, I'm sorry, or if you need to say, I miss you, or if you just want to tell them about your day, or you have something such exciting news, but you want to tell your dad, or you want to tell your mom, or you want to tell your loved one that you lost, you can go in there, and the idea is the wind carries your message up to your loved ones. So we're the only place in West Tennessee that has them. They're all over the world. So, we're really happy to be able to provide that to people who are going through the grieving process.
That is very special. And just what I keep hearing is connection, community, combating the feeling of loneliness and isolation that, doctors report on frequently.
Yeah, and we're also hosting free community events as well. So every second Thursday of the month, we have some kind of community event, whether it be the speaker series or our music series or our entertainment series. So like this next Thursday, we have new ballet and Ballet Memphis coming to perform, and it's all free. You can go on our website and sign up. We just ask people to register so we know how many people are coming. We also have the Memphis Zoo coming out 4 times this year. They've already come once, so 3 more times, but they bring animals out, and it's free for people to come out and just see the animals. So they can also go on our website as well.
I love
and
that.
And these are free. Like, we want people to come from all over the city. One of my favorites so far has been the Stax Music Academy came, and they what talented kids, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, I was just in awe of how amazing they are. But that was one of the most fun nights. People were up dancing and having the greatest time. So either we're gonna have a speaker, we're gonna have some kind of entertainment, or we're gonna have music. So
That is
we're really
incredible.
excited
I
about
love that. Sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
And what's awesome is y'all have only been open for 6 months ish.
Right.
What has the community response been like? What are you seeing from people and hearing?
You know, I think at first people thought that the Front Porch was only for members of Second Baptist, which is a very big misconception. Of course, Second Baptist is very much involved in this and a big part of making this happen. But it's an interfaith gathering space. And as people have started to learn that we are open to the public and we do have a coffee shop and we are serving breakfast and lunch and that we do have this event space and meeting room, people are really getting excited about it. I think every day I'll go on social media and see where someone's posted and they just go on and on about what a great little secret in Memphis. And some people even say to us, we don't want people to find out about this because they love it so much. But the word is getting out, and we're just so happy that our mission to bring people together is definitely at work in the building, and people are coming and showing up.
I think much to their detriment, the word is those people who love that they found a hidden gem. The word is getting out, and I feel like more and more frequently I'm hearing and seeing more about you guys, and that's just exciting and for exciting for Memphis and exciting for our community to have a third space that people can just come and gather and be together. But then again, on the business side of things, there are businesses and other nonprofits housed in the Front Porch building. And so it's not just to hang out, it's to help yourself, help other people. It's just a lot of good stuff going on there. And it's very exciting.
Thank you. And our tagline, what we're trying to tell people is this is a place where you can gather for good. And everybody in the building wants what's good for people and what's good for Memphis.
So I'll say that you guys are a nonprofit, but y'all have a lot of interaction with small business and the small business community. And, I would say that small businesses are the fabric of our community. They're really integrated in who we are as a city and in our culture. And they're often places that connect people, which is why I feel like they're very similar to you and to your nonprofit in particular. You guys are always focused on connecting people and giving people the space to be together. How do you see the Front Porch playing into the small business ecosystem? Where do you see the Front Porch, coming alongside the community and the business community?
So I really think we're helping small businesses by providing a space for them to bring their business. To start off with, they can bring their clients to Second Helpings Cafe and, just connect there. And, you'll be in a room with a lot of people from Memphis who are also connecting. So I think we have a great little networking thing going on there in Second Helpings in itself. So we also have the event room, where they can bring their meetings and their staff retreats and their lunch and learns. We want businesses to book our space because we want to bring the connection back. I think what's really great about our event space is it's all glass. So on beautiful days, you're just surrounded by green space while you're doing your meetings, and you're not in a room, with 4 walls and just a couple TVs. We are providing just this beautiful space for businesses to bring their business. And then, of course, our meeting room as well for up to 12 people is just great. And what's really great about all of these meetings is you can have them catered by Second Helpings Cafe. So, you know, so we're kind of combining the businesses, like use Second Helpings Cafe. It's right on site. They have a great catering menu. So I think what the Front Porch is doing for the small business community is providing space for them in the heart of East Memphis. You know, for 5.5 miles on Walnut Grove, you can't stop and get a cup of coffee. Well, now you can. And so I think that's what we're doing. And, you know, beyond that, we're just building a community and we're building connection for Memphians. And I think that is the mission of the Front Porch, is to bring people together, and that's what we're doing.
When I think of small businesses, a lot of times I think of, you know, little mom and pop shops or diners or restaurants, cafes, whatever it is, where you become a regular and the people know your name. And I feel like as the Front Porch starts to grow and get even bigger, and much to those people who love it as a hidden gem and want it to stay that way, much to their sadness, y'all are growing and y'all are getting to that point where people are going to be coming in frequently, whether that's on the meeting event space side, they're going to be using that space, or they're coming in to Second Helpings Cafe and sitting down and having conversations. But the people there who work there are going to be like, hey, Melissa, good to see you.
They already are, to be honest with you. They already are. If you walk in, I mean, we have Lauren has a great staff at Second Helpings Cafe, and they remember your name. And you know, we already have people who I'll walk in, I'll say, I'm gonna have to get you a key, because you know, they've found their space. We have a pastor that comes in every week and just writes his sermons at Second Helpings Cafe. And, you know, it's just absolutely amazing to me that these people keep showing up over and over again.
That's awesome. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I am so excited to see where the Front Porch grows, and you know, how it just kind of comes alongside our small business community and itself functioning more alongside small businesses. So just thank you for sharing that story and the mission of the Front Porch, and just, you know, being here today.
Thank you for having me, really. I really do appreciate it. You guys do great work here, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Talk Chamber. We are so glad you're here with us. Today we heard about small businesses and the importance that they have on our ecosystem. One thing that continued to ring true that we heard over and over again was that small businesses connect and drive community. So it's important that as the community, as, you know, members of this community, we support our small businesses. If you enjoyed this episode or learned a valuable piece of information, share this episode with a friend or maybe even a colleague. Subscribe to the Talk Chamber to keep up with the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. Follow us on social media at Memphis Chamber, and we'll see you next time.